Let me start off by saying these are two exceptional candidates for these positions, and they have tremendous background. And in the case of Mr. Cordray, I certainly hope that the ideological opposition to the entity which received a majority vote in its creation by the Congress of the United States doesn't continue to be the opposition of someone who is eminently qualified, who has been fair, who has been balanced, who has been transparent, all the qualities that you would want in the director of an office. And so if that is a new standard, that a majority will can now be subverted by stopping a nominee in order to subvert the agency, then that's a dangerous slope. And so I hope that Mr. Cordray's nomination moves forward based on his abilities and what he has exhibited to us so far. And in the case of Ms. White, she's, I know there are some who are concerned about her private sector experience. I remember her as a very tough prosecutor. I used a different word when we met, but I won't do that here. I
said you could, right?
Yeah, but so these are two exceptional witnesses. Having said that, I do have some questions. Ms. White, I get numerous constituent letters concerning the lack of prosecution of wrongdoers. And basically, when I see the testimony of the Attorney General before the Judiciary Committee when he was asked in this field, that the size of some of these institutions is so large that it this is quoting from his testimony, it does become difficult for us to prosecute them when we are hit with indications that if you do prosecute, if you do bring a criminal charge, it will have a negative impact on the national economy, perhaps the world economy. So the question then is, are these institutions, in essence, protected against prosecution merely by their size, and understand that when, in fact, they do violate the law, that they'll have an extensive fine, and that will be the cost of doing business? Because if that's the case, then I think it subverts the very nature of the honesty and transparency that we want to see in the marketplace. If the American people and investors believe that entities can do this largely with impunity because they are so big that they cannot, be prosecuted, that at the end of the day, then how do I know that the system is not being rigged at a time in which I'm making my investments? So, as the potential chair of the SEC, give me your thoughts on what you would do in that regard in terms of when you found wrongdoing, assuming you found wrongdoing, what would you do?
Assuming you found wrongdoing, I think you proceed quite vigorously against, well, frankly, anyone that you find evidence of wrongdoing on, but certainly financial institutions. At the SEC, which of course doesn't have the criminal powers, those collateral consequences are not taken into account before charging decisions are made. So that at the SEC, there's no institution too big to charge. On the criminal side, they're also, in my view from my former life, institutions are not too big to charge either, but federal prosecutors are instructed by DOJ, Department of Justice policy. They have a long line of factors to consider, and one of them is the collateral consequences of a criminal indictment to innocent shareholders, employees, or the public. And certainly prosecutors should consider that before proceeding, but that doesn't necessarily dictate a no decision.
Mm-hmm. So if you were to be confirmed as a chair, at least to the extent that the SEC has powers of charging and proceeding, you would vigorously do that when you found the causes to be appropriate?
Absolutely, Senator.
Secondly, in Dodd-Frank, it's been reported that excessive compensation schemes provided part of the fuel for the financial crash. In response, I worked to include a provision in Dodd-Frank that would require publicly listed companies to disclose in their annual SEC filing the amount of CEO pay, the amount of the median company worker pay, and the ratio of the two. Now, it seems to me while the agency has struggled with immensely more complicated rules, the SEC has yet to take action on this. Will you work to follow through on this if confirmed and make sure that we get to the rules that is called for under the law?
I will, Senator.
No, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.